Though we are in the midst of galaxy season, there are still a few targets in our galaxy that we can image, such as a few globular clusters, which orbit high above our galactic plane, which allow us to see them during galaxy season. These targets are pretty easy, although they are quite small like galaxies. So just like all of the other galaxy season targets, you typically want a little bit of focal length if you're going to be imaging these. Now the setup that we are using is the same as always. We have the Quattro 150p for our telescope. Our imaging camera is the ASI 585. And for our guide scope and guide camera, we have the SVBONY 30mm guide scope with the ASI 120mm mini. And our mount is the Ioptron CEM 26, and everything is being controlled by the ASI Air Plus using the phone app. Now we do have a new member, which is this Apertura Power box or battery, whatever you want to call it. I bought this mainly for the solar eclipse since we're going to be traveling and I need a way to obviously power my rig. But this is also useful if you're going camping or if there's a power outage or something. Where I live, we have quite a few power outages often. So something like this will be handy if the power's ever out on a clear night. Now I heard with my setup that this thing can last approximately 8 hours. Now, since I'm not going to be shooting that long tonight, I don't know how true that is, but I definitely want to just see how my whole rig works with this. And on the side here, we have 3 DC-12 outputs, we have 3 USB-C outputs, and 1 AC output. But you can also plug a power strip into it if you have multiple pieces of your setup that use AC like I do. The ASI Air, the mount, and my dew heater for the guide scope all use AC, so this is going to come in handy. Now, if you tap AC output, it should turn on and there should be a light that shows you the battery. So we are pretty much full battery. Another cool feature, if you're using it at night and be able to see, there's also a flashlight, a red flashlight, so it doesn't ruin your dark adaptation. And as you can see, it is also pretty small. Now, I have imaged this target before, but I was unhappy with how both images of it came out. The first time I imaged, it was with my old setup, and it just didn't produce a photo I was happy with. And the second go at it, the scope was out of collimation and slightly out of focus, so hopefully I can actually get a good image of this. Globular clusters are beautiful, big, bright balls of stars, and you can even see it through binoculars or a telescope like this if you were to do visual. They are very easy to see. Tonight, the one I'm going after is Messier 3, which is near the bright star Arcturus. I will be imaging this for a couple hours, although you don't need too much integration since this target is just a ball of stars, but you definitely want some integration to clean up that background and make sure your background is nice and smooth and doesn't have a bunch of noise. Now, the weather has been quite good here recently, and today has been like perfectly sunny without a cloud in sight all day. And tonight is supposed to be super clear, and I'm just hoping it stays clear for the night of the solar eclipse. Wouldn't that be a disappointment having to miss out due to some clouds? But the days leading up to the solar eclipse that are already in the forecast are looking promising, so I'm expecting to actually have some good weather for the day of the eclipse. It is dark now. I'm gonna turn on the power box and get everything set up. Also gonna get the ASI Air connected to my phone here. You can really see how powerful the flashlight is at night on this thing. Make sure the dew strip is set to high. And everything is set, so now we're just going to press go on the polar alignment and let it slew. 2 arc minutes by 4 arc minutes off. Okay, so we're not too bad. We just got a little bit of adjusting to do. And there we go. That was a very quick and simple polar alignment, and that will do us. So we're currently going to the star Alclade in the constellation of Ursa Major. We're going to try to use that as our collimation and focus star. Of course, anytime you're doing any type of collimation or focusing, you want to choose the bright stars because that is going to be where it's easiest, and you can also get the most accurate focus and accurate collimation by using bright stars. We seem to be in pretty good collimation, so now it's just time to focus up. So we are going to turn the focus knobs on the scope, and we're using a live view here, so we actually get a pretty quick and accurate view of what's going on. Try to get the star as small as possible. Then we're going to do the final touch-ups on the imaging mode and just take very short exposures and tweak the focus until we get it perfect. And look at that right there, that great big ball of stars already, and it's barely on the horizon too. It is just above the tree line, and we can already see it in just like a 2-second exposure. So that goes to show you just how bright this target is and just like how bright the core of this globular cluster is. One important aspect to imaging globular clusters like this is making sure that the core of the star cluster is not too blown out. Because of how bright these targets are, you can very easily blow out the core of these star clusters, but you want to keep that nice detailed center. Also, pulling out a rich amount of star colors. Star color can really make an image, whether it is a star cluster like I'm shooting tonight, or a galaxy, or a nebula. Good, rich blue and orange star colors can enhance an image so much, and it's just really important that you get out good star color. Which is why shooting with things like achromatic telescopes can really be difficult, because you get that purple fringing, and it's very difficult to get rid of that and actually produce natural star color. But it is no problem with a telescope like mine, which is a Newtonian. As long as the coma corrector you're using on it is also optically good, you should have no problem with chromatic aberration and can pull out rich star color very easily. Now obviously, before we start imaging, we got to clear our guide calibration and make sure we get a totally new one. Anytime you rebalance, or if a meridian flip happens or anything like that, just really night to night, you typically want to calibrate. It's not all the way dark yet, but up here you can see Jupiter up above me, and I think there's supposed to be a naked eye comet that you'll be able to see tonight. Now of course, since it's not completely dark yet, I can't see it yet, but I'm waiting to see if I can actually see it with my naked eye. If that is the case, I think it's also supposed to be able to be visible with the naked eye during totality in the solar eclipse, which would be awesome to see. I got this image of the zodiacal light, and you can also see the comet in the bottom right. I'm not sure completely if I could see it with a naked eye or not, but I think I could. But anyway, I got about 2 hours of data on Messier 3 and got an image that I am very pleased with.